It's Tuesday, and it's the fifth day of the month of March. It's you and I this week. I thought if God keeping us, keeps keeping us, we keep staying and keep living. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me take a break now. When I come back, I tell you exactly what we have with you. That's period. Join us now as we bring you press review, and then Paulson Okeke, a public affairs analyst, has also joined me. Good morning, Paulson.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers. Please let us interact this morning.
Your hand on your jaw. Is everything okay? I hope you slept well.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome. Yeah, as usual, let's begin from the beginning. Nigeria Peace Corps commenced press for passing establishment bill. That's from our website this morning. Mrs. Soludo expressed resolve to sustain campaign against abuse of women, children. That's children comprising my girls. Okay. Osajindo family celebrates mother at Itobo Obosi. Well, these are many more other stories you find trending in our website this morning. But this Peace Corps, let's start pausing. Is it not a duplication of so many calls on ground?
You see, when the National Peace Corps started a couple of years ago, you know, it ran into controversy that led the police to seal their offices and to disband it. And the president then, I think it was Jonathan, he didn't say anything much. And the Senate, that's the National Assembly then, we are complicit too. Because National Peace Corps, as the name implies, should have a specific mandate. And when they started, they had a lot of, it was like creating job for our youth, because they have a lot of young men and women who were recruited in the Peace Corps. But to my mind, or to me as a Nigerian, I was watching them to know actually what their duty is. It started as an NGO.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it started as an NGO. Before you know it, it became a voluntary organization. And before you know it again, it metamorphosed into something else. So the police became apprehensive, and before you know it, they were sealed. They generated so many controversies that Nigerians were saying, let them be, because we need them. And people were saying, if we have National Peace Corps, what is the civil defense still doing? And so on. But today, they have resonated, and they keep on asking. And the National Assembly has passed the establishment bill, which has given them a legal nod to operate. During that controversy, the police was saying that they are illegal organization. The police called them many other names, and yet they have offices in the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja. But what is happening is, let us see how they are going to function and what will be their job when we have civil defense and so on.
Of course, that's what we expect from the House of Assembly as they pass this bill. What exactly are they going to do? And then considering this era of trying to work on the Orasanya's report, whereby so many agencies are being merged, don't you think that this also could be merged with other agencies?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. It will be very important if it could be merged with civil defense.
Okay.
That's very simple.
Fine. Okay, yeah, Mrs. Soludo respects resolve to sustain campaign against abuse of women, children, girls, men, and boys.
Yeah, because We keep on talking about abuse of women in this society, abuse of women everywhere. Nobody has ever talked about abuse of men.
I added men.
No, that is it. When you read the headline, it's abuse of women and children. And you keep on asking, who protects the men? Somebody said men are not, should protect themselves. But we have men whose wives beat and abuse every day. Even if it is not about the physical abuse, this 100 words in 1 minute, 1,000 words in 2 minutes, is an abuse. Because men, there are some of us who are as weak as women.
Was she talking like that when you were courting her or dating her or asking her to marry you?
No, it is follow come like some some
Are
people
you sure it's follow come? Because that's one problem with it. You go and they box the woman in a corner, and then she starts fighting with her mouth because that's the only instrument she has. You say she's talking church.
There's a way you talk to a man. It becomes an abuse.
Why is she talking? What led to her talking church?
There's this word we always say, nagging kills.
Was she nagging before you married her?
It could be inborn. It could be circumstances.
If
but
it's
one thing
inborn,
remains
you should have noticed that while you were dating her.
One thing remains that there are things women do that leads to abuse of men, which nobody is always talking about. Please, whenever we talk about abuse of women, we will all support it. We should fight against abuse of women and the children. But at the same time, let us not lose sight that men also suffer abuse.
Okay, you have to make your case. Maybe because if you don't say where you are, nobody will know. If you think you have a case, you bring it up. Maybe the governor will
champion it.
No, we'll look at maybe establishing ministry for men affairs. Okay, and have a commissioner for men affairs.
No, because
so that,
each time we begin to overprotect women, we are ennobling them. Honestly.
Is it not good enough to enable them?
No.
Enabling them to do what? No. Women, we are very innocent, we are very calm.
Okay, let us not go into that.
Okay, Itobo Festival, what is it like in your place? I think so many times Itobo started with Obosi on all those areas, and then I think so many other towns are beginning to copy them because they have a Tuzi Obonenugu now.
In my community, Oka here, we've not started it. Maybe they will say if it is good and the men or the community considers it good, and the town union should take the lead to celebrate people who attain the age of octogenarian. It is not easy. It is thanking God for granting longevity to these men and women who marked 80 years. And many people want to tap into that longevity. Because in this year or in these days, when life expectancy is about 40 and continue dropping to even 35, if somebody by the grace of God lives up to 80 years, it is worth celebrating. So Bosi people should be commended and they should be emulated.
Okay, and then you know, there are so many things they do that I like in that their thing. If you get to the age of 80, Itobo, there are a lot of things that you exonerated from. But I think sometimes starts from 70 once you get up to because if you are working, you retire at the age of 60. Or 65 now, as the case may be. So you find out that because you're not working, you're not supposed to be paying anything. You know, you're not earning money again.
In many communities, it is 70.
Yes.
The moment you enter 70,
you
are exempted from all manner of levies, all manner of activities, except come to the town union. To the town hall and mix with people, attend the.
Except if you want to make a donation.
A donation, where you can.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Let's look at the papers now and see what's trending today. The Nigerian newspapers this day I don't know if there's anything, I mean the print media, is there any way you go out of your way to find out what you will put on the pages of your paper that will kind of bring hope to us and make us feel there's a future for us? These days, some of the news that are trending there will make you depressed. Okay, we'll take off with the Daily Sun. Edo Governor Obaseki hits CBN on economy. That's the story beside the net template. Said Apex Bank's policies can't cause improvement. And then Tinubu's reform will fortify Nigeria's economic foundation. This is coming from Shetima. Shetima is the vice president of Nigeria. But the banner headline on that paper says, clock ticks for DSS, NIA, DGs, and then IGP. Why? Police chiefs to retire this year. Wow. Extended tenure of intelligence agencies has under focus. It's not a new deal. We have been seeing the extension. We saw extension in one. What's the name of that police officer and a whole lot of them?
The last administration extended for so many years, and
it's the same political party, the same handover, the same. I will continue from where my predecessor stopped. So we won't be surprised to see extensions of this
No, but
time.
it is not helping the agencies, because whenever the law establishing the agencies say a particular officer should retire at this age. Therefore, if at that age a man clocks remains in the office, it doesn't help the younger ones in that job, because he's occupying where another person should come.
Okay.
So it's good whenever a man retires, let him go, because he has offered his services to the best of his abilities. Keeping him there further does not engender growth in that job, because there's a time a man will rise before, you know, if you keep him longer, his services will begin to dwindle. So,
why do you even think they extend their tenure?
No, it is for political consideration, or because it's my brother, or because it's my friend. Let him continue. He's doing well. But he forgets that the Establishment Act of that agency says at particular age you should retire. If you have served from this 35 years, you should retire. But a man will be there, serve 35 years, you still give him an extension of about a year or two. You have gone against that law. That is one thing. Then you are not helping the man who should just retire and go home and rest.
Do we keep laws in Nigeria?
No,
we
should.
We are lawbreakers.
We
more
should.
Than the
We are not a
lawkeepers.
banana republic.
But what do you think? What do you think about what's going on here?
Oh.
Okay, let's go. Navy destroys 3 illegal refinery sites and then wooden boats. 12 killed, 28 injured in Zaria Kano road crash. Very unfortunate. Depending on food aid from Ukraine, national disgrace. Depending on food aid from Ukraine, national disgrace. This is coming from Peter Obi. Okay, what other story do we still have here? FCT pulls out of Federal Civil Service, gets 9 new PAMSECs. Can you hear that? FCTA pulls out of Federal Civil Service, gets 9 new PAMSEC. What is Wike doing in Abuja? Okay.
He said he has come with a lot of reforms.
Looting, FCTA to establish police posts in warehouses. Okay. We're not going to explain, Taya.
No, you see that looting in of warehouses in Abuja. When I was watching it, I was laughing. And then there was a thought that came into me. Why should federal, what is it called? Why should the FCTA store food? And like the people we are saying, it has been there for months or years. And yet, they are not sharing it. What is it? What are those bags of grains, rice, maize, corn, and whatever? What are they doing in that warehouse? And people are starving on the street. So
maybe they're the ones they have mapped out to
do what?
For what Ukraine do for donation to other countries, African countries
And
that are
yet
having
the people
problems.
here have not eaten.
Yeah, that's
The people are starving, dying of hunger.
They call it international politics.
Well, that is what they did. That when I saw the video, I laughed and I said, this is the state of this country, and they are sending a message, not only to our government, but to the outside world, to see the kind of government or the suffering the people are passing through.
Okay, let's look at other papers. Punch newspaper is our next paper. Food crisis. OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. Food crisis. OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot. You know what they call them, hoodlums? The thing, I don't like it. These are hungry Nigerians. Okay, have they been doing this? No, they're hungry. Okay, the Daily Times is our next paper. Looting of foodstuffs, that's all we have here. Article warns on imminent disaster as Obi slams federal government over Ukraine's grains donation. What else do we have? Federal government targets $8.79 trillion global business process outsourcing market. Why you guys are hungry? Okay, court adjourns Kano's 1 billion naira suit until March 18th. And then equities. Equities market begins week on bullish notes as investors gain. Okay, that's all coming from the Daily Times. Vanguard newspaper is our next paper. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for WeWay. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for WeWay. With some riders there as Dangote, Edun, Cardoso, Sanwo-Olu, Adesina, AIG, Imukorede, others pay tribute. It's very unfortunate, the death of WeWay and his family members. Very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, yesterday when I watched that program, the Night of Tribute from WeWay, it was all tribute throughout, and they were a stolen demands virtue. They were they stole demand to high heavens about his contribution to the banking sector and to the economy. That all bank executives were there. Aliko Dangote was who broke down while paying his tribute, and I was like, oh, this man must have contributed immensely to the growth of our banking system and to for our economy as well. Well, my heart goes to the family and to his colleagues. It's unfortunate.
Very
it's
unfortunate.
Not good to lose such a young man at that age.
Very young.
At that age, especially when he has so much to contribute for the growth of our economy.
And at that instance too,
yeah.
Okay, some of us were saying if he had died alone, the wife would have continued from where he stopped, because we learned that she's a corporate officer too. And then if both of them had gone, maybe his first son would have stepped in his father's shoes. What is this? How has this, I mean, how was this planned that none of these people will escape this?
Well,
it's very, very unfortunate.
We cannot question God because it's
I wasn't
a crash.
asking God.
Yeah, it's a crash, and it could happen anytime, anywhere,
okay,
for anybody.
Okay, agreed. Vanguard newspaper. Okay, we have seen Vanguard. Let's see Daily Independence now. Orasanyo reports execution. Civil servants jittery over job loss is the banner headline on the Daily Independent. Orasanyo reports execution. Civil servants jittery over job loss. Other stories coming from here. That's the Daily Independent. Alleged 4 billion naira fraud. Obiano stores trial. Challenges cost jurisdiction. That's another story coming from Daily Independent. NIN, Lagos activists 16 billion naira damages from telcos and then NCC. Okay, do we still have stories here? 12 died, 28 injured. We have seen that story. Very unfortunate indeed. And then Bayelsa Tribunal, this band panel now, Sylvia APC asks appeal court president. That's all coming from Daily Independent. Let's look at the Nation's newspaper.
Let's look at this Orasanyo report.
Okay.
If you remember, it was President Jonathan who set up Orasanyo report, or Orasanyo committee, to review the civil service and so on. And at the end of the day, they came out with this report. And since then, the last government did not consider touching it. Obviously, maybe because it was another party, and the government was busy pursuing its agenda. But in that report, it was recommended that if this report should be implemented, that there should be a lot of loopholes that should be plugged in our civil service. And because there are many ministries that are whose functions are duplicated. There are many agencies whose functions are duplicated. So this committee recommended that there should be merger of some of these agencies. Like, it's recommended that the police and the road safety should be merged. That's one of the key areas. Because
So
the police has traffic department
of traffic
yes.
in police.
So that when they merge them, the road safety maintains traffic and mans traffic and so on. And there are many other agencies as well that it's recommended. It was consigned to the dustbin by the former administration until this administration came and maybe saw something worth doing in it. And so they dusted it and they are now trying to implement it. If they do that, like some of them were saying, we have a bogus civil service. It should be trimmed. It may not actually lead to sack of workers, but it could be streamlined, putting round pegs in round holes, putting square pegs in square holes as well, so that people will be productive. There will be optimum results in civil service. Then the budget will be reduced. So these were what the committee were asked to go and investigate and come out. And they did that very well, came out with a report that they were applauded the day they submitted the report. But implementation was not done, maybe because Jonathan was just waiting he would get a second term. He didn't get it. Then the Buhari government came and saw it from a different perspective and threw it aside. So what we should do in this country is, whenever we set up a committee to work and look into a particular system, when they work, let us set up a white paper that should tell us, yeah, this committee has done their report, this thing they recommended is good, the other one is not good. Then for those ones that are good, we should begin to implement them so that the efforts of the committee will not be in vain.
As you are setting the committee, also set implementation committee so that once this one is finished, you start with the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Because in this country, there are many reports.
And then try to do it on time, because that's why everybody faulted, what's his name?
Jonathan.
Obasanjo. No,
Obasanjo, okay.
You implemented, you instituted this committee towards the end of your tenure. So you are not there to implement it. So why didn't you start it earlier? And then it was PDP that, came in. Why didn't Jonathan do it? I mean, implement those things. You understand? Because that's what APC is saying now. You didn't do it in your own time, and now you want us to implement it.
But it is not, because government is a continuum.
It's a continuum in a civilized climate.
It's a faulty argument. Government is a continuum. If it is, we are talking about civilized climate. Are we not civilized? Then let us go back to our forefathers and begin to live the way they lived.
Okay, let's continue with the Nation newspaper. Nation newspaper, a newspaper this morning, the story there says, government takes minimum wage talks to Nigerians in zones. Government takes minimum wage talks to Nigerians in zones, with a rider there, private sector players, others to give input in Lagos, Abuja, Sokoto, Kano, Uyo, and Yola. And up here, I have, okay, it's still on Wigwe, Tearful Dangote immortalized Wigwe. Okay, all those tears and all those eulogies, I think what we want to see happen is for his dreams to continue. That university must not go down. So if you love Wigwe, let's make it happen exactly the way he wants it. Okay, and so many other things that he had at hand before his death. Daily Trust is our next paper. A banner headline, they say Cardoso wants Nigeria on death risk. with a right, well, two riders there. Federal government states owe 139 trillion naira. While debt rose from 2.1 trillion to 87 trillion naira in 24 years. Wow. Okay. Any other story of interest here? Okay, IGP bars POS operators from police stations nationwide. U.S. election, Supreme Court order clears Trump for primaries. Healing, masquerades go to church with native doctor for Thanksgiving. Masquerade go to church with native doctor for Thanksgiving. Okay. Children starving to death in northern Gaza hospitals. WHO is warning that children are starving to death in northern Gaza hospitals. Okay, their fathers should stop wars so that children will go home and eat. Nigerian Tribune is our last paper.
Let us look at police.
No, before that, let's just take the last paper and then we'll start talking. Okay, Obaseki warns of tougher times ahead. This is what you hear, so that if you are in semi-depression, you just slide completely. Okay, says Nigeria must focus on production, discourage dollarization of economy. Who is that? Obaseki. Obaseki is the Edo State governor. I hope I'm right. Okay, yes, that's who he is. Okay, do we still have other stories coming from here? Average retail price for refilling 5 kg cooking gas is 5,139.22 MBS. Average refuel price for refilling 5 kg cooking gas. About gas before coming, Alant Oka is selling 1.5. Onitsha is still selling 1,250. Abi. Some places 1.3, and a whole lot of things. You don't get to see food to eat, and when you see one, or when you struggle to get one from the palliative sector, you come back, you don't have anything to cook the food that you struggled all day to get from the palliative stores. It's horrible. Ukraine's grain donation to Nigeria disheartening. This is coming from Obi. Or your health workers begin 7-day strike. Or you tell Navy, now Ghanaian vessel, 13 crew members. While we are talking that we don't have fuel, we don't have gas, or UTF is still going on in this country, leaving this place to other African nations. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted us to talk about the police banning POS operators in police stations. And you look at it this way. There are many people who go to police and they will ask them bring money for bail. And they don't have money. The only way is to go to POS to get money, to come and bail your relative or your friend or so. And yet we are told bail is free. And it is even written boldly there that bail is free. So what do people do? Because if POS is banned around police stations and so on, our relations who are in police custody will be stranded. And so POS serves as veritable avenue to raise money to go and pay for the bells. So what do we do? They're telling us that bail will now remain very, very free, as it is written boldly in police stations.
Okay.
So that is it.
All right. Let's look at this food crisis in this country.
Yeah, like the tougher time Obaseki wants. It is true. He wasn't a prophet of doom. We are already facing a tougher time in this country. But he's now telling us that it will be more. It's just like saying something we add to our yoke, because our yoke is so burdened. It is unfortunate that all the promises we have been given, it will be well, that it is not being well, because no concrete effort is being taken. Or even if it is being taken, it is not materialized. But the question is, during Buhari, we were better off. And you see Nigerians on the street saying, oh, we are missing Buhari, we are missing Buhari. Honestly, it becomes the case of the Igbos who say, Ogolinuodinabo. Because when we were talking about maybe Jonathan and Buhari, we were saying, oh, Jonathan was good. Buhari is punishing us. Now Buhari has left. Tinubu has come in. And we still have seen the more differences between the two. How did we get to this level?
Tinubu just came in now.
It just came in 8 months.
Let's say, yeah.
How did we get to this level? What policy did he take that got this country scattered?
You can't compare 8 months to 8 years.
I'm coming.
Maybe
I say, what did he do wrong?
Start yielding maybe in a year or 2 years now.
Maybe by then our population should have been reduced. Because most Nigerians are facing debt. They cannot eat. Many Nigerians are not finding something to eat just once a day is a very, very difficult thing for most Nigerians. So what do they do until that time it will begin to materialize? If you ask me, I will advise Mr. President to open our borders. Honestly, for me as a Nigerian, I would suggest that Mr. President opens the borders.
If he opens the borders and then all these insurgents start coming in again.
You will check it. What are the security men there doing? What are they doing? You should open our borders.
Who are the security men? The insurgents that you converted to your soldiers?
What of the ones we have here before? The insurgents we have here. Have we combated it? Have we? So the problem is very simple. Like Obaseki mentioned here, until we stop dollarization of our economy, that is where our problem started. And it started when, during the presidential primaries, delegates were given dollars. People who have not seen dollars for the first time in their lives were given as much as $5,000 just for a vote. So what do you expect?
Ukraine is a war-torn country and they're still in war. They're donating food.
And they're donating food to us.
So how do you see that? Because that's what Obi is saying. If
that is the irony. The irony, a country that is in war is giving food donation to a country that is not in war.
You know, that's why I say that maybe the ones that those they call hoodlums are taking are the ones that Nigeria is keeping to donate to another war-torn country or whatever. Otherwise, why would you even take instead of giving?
Giving to Ukraine.
Ukraine has been in war for the past 2 to 3 years now.
Ukraine is a food basket of the world. You know that. That even if they are in war, they still produce in abundance. But our government should have, I'm not talking about this government.
Maybe because they don't have bandits or insurgents that distract them from their farms. Because that's one of the basic problems we are having here.
And it's a lesson.
We don't go to farm because we have insurgents that will drive you away and kill you, and then push their cows to eat whatever you have cultivated.
And our former president told the farmers to learn to live with their neighbors instead of trying to solve the problem of his kinsmen who are killing farmers and their cattle eating up crops in the farm. His only advice was to farmers was learn to live with your neighbors and so on. And today we are facing the consequences of learning to live with neighbors. When farmers go to farm, they will be killed.
Okay, before we go, let's look at this story. Obasanjo reports execution, civil servants, G3 over job loss. How does it concern them?
No,
because of the merging?
It should concern them because one, if two agencies are merged, well, they should talk about retrenchment. So that is their concern. So in retrenchment, nobody knows who will go and who will remain. So that's why they are G3. But I've said it here, earlier, that if it is done properly, that it could not lead to any job loss. Rather, what it can do is maybe realignment. In realignment, it could be take people from here, go to that place and fill up, and so on.
Okay. And this story, alleged 4 billion naira fraud, Obiano stores trial, challenges cost jurisdiction.
Yeah, yesterday when I was watching the news, he said the court has no jurisdiction, and actually, he should be tried in Enugu and not in Abuja. So that is why say Abuja has no jurisdiction to try him. So that's it.
Okay. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning. There's a lot to talk about, but you can go out there and pick your paper and then get details of the headlines we have read out for you this morning. Thank you very much, Paulson Okeke, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
You were alone, and you really made it. Okay. Thank you. For those of you that watched, a newspaper review definitely will come your way tomorrow morning. My name is Sijama. Do stay.